in being humble, meaning that Jesus, as we've reflected on at other times in the words from Philippians, did not deem equality with God something to be grasped. He accepted that he was a human being, and that through his humanness, he revealed the divine energy, love, goodness, all blessings that God has to share with all of us. And that is the example for us, that we, in our humanness, can accept that we too have the wonderful privilege of helping to carry one another's burdens. And we notice that one of the things that Jesus did was he used the first person pronoun I. I will give you rest. Take my yoke. I am meek and humble of heart. How dare he? Isn't that self-centered? Isn't that what you and I were taught? That we use I too much and better wash behind your ears or someplace that indicates that we're just not simply accepting the reality about ourselves. And so how is it then that we approach each other? But that we would say to one another, what? I am willing to help you if you want. Instead of saying, well, if you did it this way. Jesus didn't say that. He said, I am meek and humble. My yoke is easy, my burden light. He leaves us free and leaves us with our dignity to say yes or no. And we are called upon to do the same with one another. I would like to help you with that if that's what you want. And so we pray that we will develop ways in which we actually, in the way that we offer our help, empower others to say, yes, please help me, instead of turning people off by whatever other way we might express that. So the next time we're burdened, what are we going to do? Oh, I feel so horrible. I'm just loaded with all these difficulties and struggles, and oh, Jesus, help me. Or others, don't you see how I'm suffering? That's not a way to invite Jesus, nor is it a way to invite one another. So back to the learned and the clever. Whom is Jesus most likely referring to? The scribes and the Pharisees, those who were learned. And a yoke also symbolized the law, but not necessarily the law in its 619 different variations, but the law in terms of God wanting to be our God and we choosing to allow God to bless us so that we indeed experience ourselves as God's people, blessed and holy and sacred. But the Pharisees made a very heavy yoke, an impossible yoke of the law, with all the variations that they came up with. And so their idea was, and they were definitely, they started on the right track, and they try to help people become holy as God is holy, which is mentioned a number of times in the Old Testament. But they decided that they knew whom God saw as holy, which of course puts them in quite a self-righteous position. And so they would then make judgments as to who was in, who was out, who was good, who was not, who was holy, who was not. And we know that happens today only too much. Doesn't mean we throw rules out the window. However, we accept each other as God's beloved first. And then, again, walk with each other as Jesus walks with us to help us to, in accepting the love Jesus offers, to be transformed. And we might come to the realization, I don't think I'm necessarily following what God would want me to do. Maybe I need to make some changes. We come to it more or less on our own as we listen to the Spirit.